little bit excited. Welcome to Triple G Comics, ladies and gents. Tonight we're going to do our Halloween hangout where we're going to be talking all things spooky, ghostly, monstery, and ghastly. And that's just some of my guests. And we'll start off by introducing some of my favorite people in the YouTube community. And we'll start off with James T.
Ooh, Halloween. Ooh.
Very good. That was very good, James T. Very good.
It's like a radio meme here in Ireland.
Very good. And you've come in fancy dress as
Nathan Drake, one of my favorite fictional characters. So yeah, I whipped this together.
Very good.
A lot of effort, of course. Yeah.
And shows your watch. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So Nathan Drake's one of your favorite characters from the fantastic movie that we saw a little while ago. Is that right?
No, it's from the video games. I think the movie is a disgrace to the character. To be honest, but, they have a second one to try and fix it. So
yeah, they'll fix it on the second one, I'm sure.
Okay.
So how are you? Are you well?
I'm very good, man. Halloween's my favorite time of the year. You know, it's the spookiest season. So yeah, I love it. I love all things horror and scariness. So yeah.
Good stuff. Right. So next we'll bring in our friend from across the pond, Efren.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not so bad, not so bad. And are you well, Efren?
Doing well. Yeah, I got a little bit confused with daylight savings times. This happened over there, but hasn't happened here. So I was on like an hour ago. Where is everybody?
Bless you. And you've come dressed as who tonight, Efren?
I came dressed as myself during a comic book convention. So, you know.
Very good. And you've got that stunning waistcoat on again.
Yeah.
Show the back of it quickly, Efren. Or can you show the back of it?
Hang on, let me take it off. I got it signed by all these artists, if you can see it.
Stunning. Todd McFarlane standing out there.
Tremendous.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Stan Lee.
I have to say now, though, Comic-Cons are quite sweaty, Efren, so
no,
I don't think if you're watching that thing.
I air it out all the time, so it's good. Good to go.
Efren doesn't sweat.
No, I don't sweat over here.
Nice to see you, mate. Always a pleasure to see you.
Always.
Next. I mean, I can see, and I think, James, you can see the people backstage, can't you?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I mean, Comic Lad Simon's had his hands up like some kind of weird wolf thing for the last few minutes. I'm not sure what he's doing. We'll bring him on now and see what he's playing. Very good.
Hey, how are you doing?
Can we get it? Can we have that rah again? I like it. Yeah. How are you, Simon?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not so bad, mate. Not so bad. And you have come as
a wildling from Game of Thrones.
Very good, very good. I'm loving that mask. It's very, very detailed. Nice to see you. Next, oh lordy. So whenever you ask the attention-seeking geek to come on your channel, you know you're in for a bit of a treat. And today he's outdone himself. Ben, how are you doing? What should I say, Mr. G?
Showtime.
Looking absolutely stunning. They're your own teeth?
Thank you. Yes, yeah. Had some work done to them recently just to kind of bring out the colour in them, and I'm pretty happy with the results.
Very good. They look very that's just nice. But look,
Simon,
one of my
do that roar again, Simon. Do that roar. For fuck's sake.
No, it's good. I mean, he's been working on that all week. Do you know what I mean?
Literally, yeah.
I like it. Oh, right. Final guest. And I'm not quite sure what to expect here, but as ever, we've got the amazing Jason Parker.
Oh my god, it moves.
Is that just? I mean, yeah. Just a second, Jason. Is that your actual tongue sticking out? You dirty.
It is. It's my tongue.
That's the next reel.
Oh, what a bluff! Tremendous.
About the poor quality of the mask.
Jason, amazing.
It's really embarrassing. But do you know what? I tried to make the effort.
Yes.
I stuck a tea towel on my head.
Yeah.
It's great. How are we? Are we okay?
we're very good. We are very good. Okay, guys, we're going to go to the chat in a second. Just before we do that, I think we should show some solidarity for Simon and all give a bit of a in a few. Okay, so on 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's the
The Instagram post.
Okay, so as usual, we've got good old StreamYard. Thanks for joining StreamYard. Got a nice costume, I like that. We've got Luke from Hydra Collectibles. Thanks very much for joining, Luke. We've got GP Venom. Grot bags.
Grot
See,
bags.
GP got it
I
straight
told you
away.
it didn't take long.
Exactly, mate. We've got Ian Carter. Even Pete and those pesky kids. We've got Wayne Deacon. Nice to see you, Wayne.
Hey,
We've
Wayne.
got John. Thanks for joining, John. We've got This Week in Metropolis. I'm going to assume that's James. Thanks for joining, James. And we've got Dr. Von Hoot. Nice to see you, mate. And finally, we've got MJ Comics. Nice to see you, James. Okie dokie. Right, guys. So tonight, we're going to have a bit of a Halloween hangout, as we've said. I've got a few slides for to go through, a few things to kind of talk about. Guys, if at any point, I'm thinking of you, Jason, if your head looks like it's going to sweat, just by all means take that mask off.
I'll leave it on.
I'd hate to think of you passing out halfway through the show. We've got Chris from Off My Shelves. Chris, new logo. I'm liking that. Some beautiful ladies on stream tonight. Efren, I think he's talking to you, mate. And he said it twice. He likes her that much. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining me for the Halloween Hangout. What we're going to do is just, like I say, talk around some topics. I'm going to put a slide up for to kind of loosely talk about. And our first one is, what was your first scare? So what I want to know is, I want you to talk about the first memory you've got of being scared. Now, that can be your first horror film that really scared you, or just the first time you actually really felt frightened about something. So we'll start with Simon.
Yeah, you know mine. I told you, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, as a kid, like, the first thing that scared me, I was about, I don't know, I can't remember when it come out. Have you watched Critters?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Little spiky things. Because I obviously knew hedgehogs were real. Those critters, creatures, they scared me the hell like when I was a kid. I don't know how I watched it as a kid, but I watched it.
Critters is an incredible film. Has everybody seen Critters?
I know it's
While
I
ago,
haven't
then.
seen it, though. Yeah.
Efren, you seen it?
I think I have. It was such a long time ago. I don't remember the premise of it.
The basically little kind of hedgehog things that shoot spikes and stuff. It's a long time since I've seen it, but it was one of those kind of classic 70s, 80s movies, I think, wasn't it?
Like Gremlins on
Yeah, they
speed.
basically eat people.
Yeah, really sharp teeth. They did a very similar film a while ago. Well, it was kind of similar. Oh God, Attack the Block with the young
Yeah,
lad.
yeah,
John
John Boyega.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a movie. They're
That's
doing
a very
a
good
sequel coming out, like,
Is
soon
there?
enough, filming now, I think. Yeah.
You seen that
I'm
one, Jason?
All in for that.
Yeah, I think it was 1985, wasn't it? I believe.
Critters.
Critters,
Yeah.
around that time. Yeah, and
yeah,
there's several sequels as well.
Yeah, there was one out recently I noticed on Sky. It was Critters Reborn or something. It looked shocking, I have to say. It wasn't.
Yeah, there's a space one where they're like, that one's a good one, but
Yeah.
it was the very first one as a kid. I don't know, someone had it on, and as a kid I watched it and it freaked me out.
And that scare stayed with you.
Yeah, it did.
Ben, we'll come to you. What's your first memory of a scare?
So I'm cautious that I'm on another show later tonight, and I'm not going to lie, a lot of the questions are the same. Because
Right.
you sent me yours and he sent me his. So I'm going to try and come up with some original things for each stream. So for me, one of the first streams that I actually, one of the first kind of scares that, I remember distinctly was I went to cinema to see The Signs.
Oh, is that the
M. Night Shyamalan, yeah.
Yeah.
You were close. And
I'm sorry, Ben. Jason, I mean, that's an interesting look.
yeah, that's worse than The Mask, for sure.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But there's an exact moment in that film, right? And I don't know, because the film in the grand scheme of things isn't massively scary, and when you watch it back now, some bits of it have aged pretty poorly and stuff. I still think it's a very underrated film. Actually, I quite like a lot of it. But there's a moment, right, where they're watching footage from the news. I think it's Joaquin Phoenix's character is watching footage from the news, and one of the bits of footage is like a Brazilian kid's birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And they basically all go to the window, and they're like, oh, like there's all a hullabaloo, you know, something is outside in the garden. And, you know, the cameraman kind of wiggles his way past all the kids and gets a shot of the window. And it's just one, like, fleeting moment where, you know, this kind of shadowy alien-like figure sort of walks past. And, you know, it's not like, if you see the image, you know, paused, it's not scary. But I think it was the composition of the kind of music and everything like that.
Yeah.
And just how the film kind of builds up tension so perfectly for 3/4 of it, at least. Like a little bit of we came out of me, and I remember that because I went with my dad. It was just me and my dad, and I was dead embarrassed because I pissed myself a little bit, I think. Not like, you know, I didn't soil myself, but there was there was like a good 1 second of wee that just came out of me, and you know,
So was it a jet or a dribble?
it was just like it was just a panic. It was a panic
Spurt.
jet. It was just a quick spurt. Yeah,
Was it white or yellow?
Oh, yeah, the white stuff wasn't flowing by that point, unfortunately, or anymore.
Tremendous. I mean, it's interesting you're saying about that scene in Signs, because I remember that very specifically, Ben, not you, Wayne, the scene in Signs, where you just see it kind of walking. And it reminds me very much when we did our horror show with Efren and James. I talked a lot about a program that I'd watched many years ago called Ghost Watch. Jason, I don't know if you've seen that. It was on the BBC.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. And that was the first time I really remember. I'd seen horror before that, and I'd seen gory horror and that kind of stuff. But it was the first time I really had that kind of the camera panning and you see something, but nobody talks about it. And you get that kind of jump. Shit, you know, it's there in the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And that really freaked me out. It was a tremendous TV series. But I think sometimes, you know, we've talked about this before. The less you see and the less you hear, the better sometimes. It is just those little jumpy bits, you know?
It's funny you say about Ghostwatch, because, like, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it when you spoke about it a few weeks ago. And since, I've seen quite a few people posting, like, still books and stuff of it. Yeah.
So I've copied you into I've tagged you into one tonight. So a big horror author that I adore, John Lees, who wrote Sink and Crimson Cage. He's just published tonight a tweet on Instagram saying that he's bought Ghostwatch. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Simon, have you died?
No.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Is this Sleepy Wolf?
He's ready to pounce. Jason, what's your first memory of being scared?
I think for me, it was a real life situation. My mum and dad went on a cruise. They took us kids. I was 3 years old, and they left us alone in the cabin. They went off partying. They thought we were asleep. We pretended to be asleep. They'd gone. And I must have dozed off, and I woke up, and I had this realization that my parents were there. Turns out I got out of bed and unlocked the door and was wandering down the corridors in this big, huge cruise ship, and just crying my eyes out. It was really, really, really sad. It's making me cry now, actually. I was terrified because I thought I'd lost my parents. There's all these strangers touching me.
What?
You know, just like grabbing me and stuff. You know,
Okay. Right.
nothing untoward, unfortunately.
It was on a cruise
But,
ship.
so
Like
it's
your parents went to the McCann School of Parenting.
yeah. So there's that. But from a film perspective, I think one of the scariest moments for me was probably one of the first horror films I saw was Lucio Fulci's film called Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Oh yeah.
And just the image of these bodies coming out of the ground and this half skeletal monsters coming out with maggots in its eye, that absolutely freaked me out. And just the thought of something sort of chasing you,
Yeah.
And I think some of the best films as well is when something's after you, isn't it? A good example of that is It Follows. Is it that one?
Yeah.
James,
Which is one of my favorite movies. Micah Monroe, she's brilliant. And just this fact that no matter how far you travel, how far you get away, it's going to get you. There's no escape.
There's no escape.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. Good.
Those pesky SDIs.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that film until James mentioned it on another show we did, so I'm going to watch out for that one because it sounds
It's a great one.
Sounds really
What a great
interesting. We're getting loads of comments, guys, about different things that have scared people. Ghost Watchers has been mentioned a few times. A lot of people commenting on Poltergeist, which again, I think that's the one that sticks with me from when I was young.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Really good film that as well, and it still stands up. Actually, if you go and watch it, it's a very good film. James, what about yourself?
So I also have like a when I was 3 or 4 on holidays story. I forgot about this until literally you pulled up the question, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a good one. So we were in Tenerife, and me when like back then it was kind of okay to let your kids kind of run off. My sister's 5 years older, so she'd been 9 or 10. So we were just off playing in the hotel, and we were in the elevator, and we were like pressing all the buttons in the elevator, and I accidentally hit the basement button. So the doors closed, and the basement, I think, was the first one. So it was down to the basement. We realized we're trying to push the up button, and it keeps going down, and the doors open. And I swear, like he looked like the creeper from Jeepers Creepers. This man in like this utility room in the corner pissing in a bucket. And he was in like rags. And the doors open, and we're just like in shock. I thought I might have imagined this until I talked to my sister a couple of years about it. And she was like, no, that happened. So he turns and he sees us, and he's like, oh, and he grabs like, I can't remember if it was a broom or a rake or something, but he grabs something and he starts like charging towards the lift, screaming at us. And we're like pressing the buttons to close the door, and the doors just close in time. But like, we genuinely thought we were going to get murdered. Like, and it was, I remember it so vividly. It was just probably the scariest real life situation I've ever been in. Like something out of a horror movie. Like,
are you sure it's not a movie you've seen when you were a kid? And
no, I'd always remember this. And then 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, maybe I just imagined that. Yeah. And then I mentioned it to my sister. I was like, do you remember when we were pressing the buttons on the elevator? And I was like, oh yeah, and the guy in the rags was pissing in the bucket and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. Yeah. It was like weird.
Nice.
This just turned into some like therapy session for events.
Did everyone just leave the kids at that back then, like just running around on a holiday?
It was a different time, Like,
so I've got a story similar. Play with other kids. I mean, before I just tell you my story, I've had a drink then. I don't know what's happened to my lips. It's kind of spoiled the aesthetic, hasn't it?
You got like a Padme Amidala thing going on.
Yeah. Now, so I hope to help my parents. No, who am I kidding? My parents will watch this shit. When I was much younger, I remember waking up and being totally alone in the house at around about midnight. Couldn't find anybody. Front door was locked, so couldn't get out the house. And it turned out my mum and dad used to go across the street to the neighbour's house to have a few drinks on a Friday night, and they used to hang a towel on my bedroom door, which they could see from across the neighbour's house. And if the towel dropped, it meant I was out in my bedroom, and they would come over to see us.
Okay.
Just they didn't check that night, so I was sat crying for about half an hour, waiting for them. Yeah. Is it any wonder we're all grown men and we're all absolutely fucked up?
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty.
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're the stable one, Ben.
Speak for yourself, Peter.
Efren, can you remember the first time you were scared?
So this movie came out, I believe, in 73 or 74. I think we mentioned it when we did the videos on your channel. Peter, my mom took me to go see the first Exorcist with Linda Blair, and that movie scared the crap out of me. To this day, those type of movies, I just don't want to see them because I think I had to do a lot, like I said, with my religious upbringing too. But that movie just did a number on me, basically for decades, and it still bothers me every time I think about it.
I mean, that's one of those classic movies, isn't it? It's absolutely terrifying. I'm presuming everybody's seen The Exorcist.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing
It's
is,
one I
Yeah.
struggle with.
It's
Spoke
quite
about it on
jarring,
your
isn't
show,
it?
didn't I? That it like still messes with me even now. I hate the subliminal Satan face
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
scary.
we talked a lot about these kind of exorcisms and the different possession.
Big
video
man Nathan
movies.
Drake up there. Don't scare me.
Oh crap!
What a great movie, Matthew.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
tremendous.
fantastic one, yeah.
Love the
Incredible.
thing. Love it. James has the scariest childhood ever. True.
In terms of
Please-
movies, though, Hocus Pocus. That's that.
What's scariest?
Hocus fucking Pocus.
Traumatized
Has anybody
me as a
seen
kid.
the new one, Hocus Pocus 2?
I saw like 10 minutes of it and it looked shite, so I'm like, yeah. And that's
Ben,
why
you're a
I'm
big
not watching it.
Hocus Pocus fan.
I am
Was the
Yeah,
second
but
one any
I'm-
good?
also pretty camp, and it's like the anthem for like camp people. Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
The second one is okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's serviceable. It's pretty. It's very kind of shot on a backlot clearly, and
Yeah.
it's some elements of it are dialed in a bit, and yeah, it's okay. I kind of didn't. If it didn't exist, I'd be fine with that not
It's
existing.
it's a lot more woke, isn't it? Do you think?
No,
I agree.
never used it.
Dr. Von Hoot's asking there, how old were you, Efren? When you went to see
I
Exorcist?
was about 13 or 14.
Yeah, I remember seeing it when I was 11 with my nan. Yeah.
It's pretty young to go and see The Exorcist, isn't it?
I had it on home video on Pirate.
Ah, right.
It would have been around about 82 probably when I saw it. And I remember the scene where Linda Blair sort of goes up, they're having a party in the house and she starts urinating. And my nan just looked at me and she said, I'm not quite sure if this film is for you, Jason.
Disney have not half let themselves go. Is that what you said? Okay, guys. So, moving on. Do you believe in ghosts? So we'll start this time with Efren.
Yeah, I think I believe in ghosts. I think there's something in the afterlife out there. There's so many people, a lot more people just seems that they believe more in Satan than they do in, angels, stuff like that, which is kind of weird. If you ask me, if there's one, there should be the other. But I think there's something out there. At least that's, my hopefully, I'll come back as a ghost and haunt you guys.
What a lovely thing to say.
Well,
Hey, it's Halloween.
I can just imagine you kind of
Yeah.
sat downstairs making a cup of tea for it. That'd be
Yeah, I'll be
nice.
holding my AF-15 and,
No, you're not. We'll have that. We'll have
I
that.
mean, at your age, Efren, that could be next week.
Oh,
thank you. You too, man.
Jason, what about yourself?
Well, you know how I feel about it. Definitely, there's something there. I've seen stuff. I've experienced stuff. I lived in a house in a previous life where there was all sorts of strange goings on, and there was one time where I was sleeping downstairs, and I felt something was on top of me, and it wasn't my wife or a dog or anything like that. There was nothing there, but I felt like I was laying on my front and my back was sort of arching where something was just pressure on me. I just couldn't get up. I was forced down. And my wife at the time, I was away in Dublin. She was in bed and she felt that something crawling on the bed. And when you got the sheets over you and you feel like the sheets are being pushed down so you can't move?
Yeah.
Well, she experienced that and the voice said, go. And the next day she picked me up from the airport and she said, we got to move. We actually went to see Derek Acora, good old Derek,
Right. Yeah.
the late great Derek Acora.
Uh-huh.
And we put the question to him and he said, it sounds like a demon, get out, move. So I think there is. My only concern is, obviously I've lost my mum and dad. I always have this horrible feeling that they're watching me wanking.
Yeah.
You know, is that, you know,
I mean,
what's the limits with ghosts? Can they see us? Can they actually see us, or are they just an imprint? You know, what I don't want them to do is look at me disapprovingly.
It'll be an awkward conversation when you get to the afterlife, anyway. Jason.
I mean,
Yeah,
you'd,
let's
hope
have
that
that.
if, you'd hope that if they existed, they'd have a choice in what they see, and usually parents would choose not to see that.
Yeah.
Normally,
I mean, you were doing very well there, Jason. You know, it was a good story, and then
He said about losing his parents. I was like, oh my god, Jason Parker's being tender and like this is like emotional and like, and then he drops into wanking.
I could have gone out tonight, you know.
no need. Got it all here, mate.
Yeah.
All here.
It would really freak you out if you like jizzed and it just laid in like in the middle of the room, just like it hit a wall, an invisible
Peter,
wall or something.
Rein this in here.
Yeah.
Have some control.
I've been slimed.
Oh
God
my
damn
god!
it.
oh, Jason,
Happy Halloween!
Simon, try and pull. No, don't pull. Rescue her
Pull out
from
the bag.
Jason's masturbating on his parents.
Yeah, I believe in ghosts.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah.
Good.
Want to elaborate? Have you ever had any ghost conversations or anything?
No.
No.
What's going on
James-
tonight?
James T.
I have another good story. When I was like 9 or 10, my sister saw a ghost and she took a photo of it. And she showed us it was like a white orb, like hovering above her bed. Like she woke up, I remember hearing screaming in the middle of the night. We ran in. She goes, I saw a thing. She showed me a photo. And it was like a light with like a face in it. And about a week later, I was watching like the Discovery Channel or something, and there was a new show on talking about ghosts. And it was a white orb that hovers above your bed with a face in it and things. So I was pretty convinced then. But we had like a priest come and bless the house because of it and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, like I believe her. So I think that did genuinely happen. And like I would have said maybe she's imagining it, but she did show me a photo. But a funny thing about it is I was the night that the priest came.
You were
I was
wanking.
He walked in. Oh. No, I was supposed to be singing at mass, just me, like doing a solo thing at mass, and I told my teacher during the day, I might not be able to come tonight because there's a ghost in our house and a priest is coming to like do an exorcism, and she was like, "Don't lie." And she gave out to me, and like I got in trouble for lying about it, even though I was actually telling the truth. So yeah, no, I think.
Have you still got this photo?
No, it was, you know, that would have been 2000.
What was she singing?
2005 in old school, but like I think like an orb, like a ball of light with a face in it. But yeah, like I think if I experienced that, that would just like fundamentally change me as a person.
I'm interested. What were you singing at mass?
Was it singing like Ave Maria or something?
Hold on,
Yeah.
we can't fucking brush over that. You can sing
Ave
Ave Maria on a solo level.
Yeah.
Belting
What,
out.
like tenor? Are you like a high tenor? What?
Well, this was when I was like 9 or 10. Now I would do more like bassy, you know.
Go on then.
Okay, yeah. We're
You
waiting.
can't. I don't do it for free. You can't afford me.
Oh,
They
unbelievable.
gave me some sweeties back
I'm
then.
getting
so.
you pissed as a fart in Liverpool and getting you to sing Ava Marie to me in the corner of the room.
Has anyone done a like ghost walk before? I've done a ghost walk around Lincoln before. That's
You
quite
didn't?
All right. Yeah.
yeah, because they all tell all the stories what what's happened at night. There's supposed to be always what happened there. So
Yeah. Good stuff. Ben, have we had your ghost story yet?
No, I don't believe in ghosts.
Fair enough.
Moving on.
Also,
I don't believe in ghosts, but people think I've seen them. Your mother.
Oh, you're lucky I was pouring.
Oh my
Let's
god!
get this
Holy
done.
shit, my heart. My heart. I am overweight and susceptible to a heart attack. Play that shit on me. Unbelievable. Right,
Sorry, Ben,
so
you were saying.
I don't believe in ghosts, so I always think there's like a rational answer. But when I was a kid and we were in France and we were at some like random like motorway hotel, I'm pretty sure I saw someone hanging. But it could have just been someone hanging. Right? So that's my rational reason for that. Also as well, we were like driving in Cornwall and there was some like motherfucker in Victorian clothes just in a window. But I was like, why is someone in Victorian clothes in the middle of the day just like standing at a window? But that, you know, someone would have been, right? And when we used to visit my great auntie, she used to live with a lady and she passed and like her side of the house or whatever, I'm pretty sure we saw some people knocking about, but they could have just been squatters. So I don't believe in ghosts, but like when I
You've seen
say
three.
about these stories, like people think I've seen them, but I don't know. You know, I'm very, I'm very atheist about everything, yeah, everything. So, but you know, if one's there one day, and I'm like, put my hand for it or whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, I was wrong.
Oh yeah. Fair enough.
Tremendous. Fair enough. This bit of hair keeps falling out. It's getting right on me tits. Are
Are
Right,
you wearing
guys.
a pair?
I just want you what?
Are you wearing a pair
A pet?
of tits?
No, I've got
Oh,
my own. I've spent a
commit
long
next
talking
time.
about
I
Um,
can't
I want some witch's tit.
it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this because this is some of the stuff that I find more horrifying than perhaps some of the movies and things. And I don't know if anybody's been watching the Netflix series about Jeffrey Dahmer or has read this book. Did you hear what Ed Gein done? So just kind of wanted to mention briefly about real life horrors and what your take on that. So has anybody been watching the Dahmer show?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yes.
I mean,
Very
it's pretty horrific, and it's, I don't know, for me, that's probably more scary than some of the ghostly stuff, and that's when we kind of come to some of the movies that probably freak me out the most, which is stuff that probably is based on truth or could happen. So I'm thinking, you know, your Texas Chainsaw Massacres, that was, you know, based on Ed Gein's history. Psycho, again, you know, also down to things like The Hills Have Eyes. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what America's like. Do you know what I mean? These little pockets of nutcases, Ephraim, you know, that are living in the hills in San Diego and
In
things
their
like
waistcoats.
that.
7 years.
Well, I don't know. Have any of you guys got any thoughts on that kind of stuff? Is there anything in particular that scares you or
That's
freaks
pretty
you
bad,
out
isn't
about that? It's what?
That's my opinion. It's bad. Boo.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Down with that sort of stuff.
Boo to murder.
I don't like murder.
What are you thinking of the Jeffrey Dahmer show?
It's a good show. I think Evan Peters is brilliant in it. It's horrifying to watch, but not overly gory. But because a lot of it is suggested, and I think, in a way, it's played down a lot because I think he did a lot worse stuff in real life than what was portrayed in the show.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it was mentioned, but you don't actually see a lot of it, like the skull fucking and stuff like that, you know. And
We didn't
No.
see the acid moment.
no,
and stuff, did we?
no. But it's still really great show.
I mean, I haven't watched the last episode yet, but obviously I know kind of what's coming. But it's just terrifying to me that these people are out there and, you know, are in society and all around where I guess you could say.
But to be fair, it's like that's like one every, you know, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever out of how many millions of people on this earth. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Gets
it's
caught. Then gets caught.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say
the
that
thing.
that we know
What
about.
the FBI says there's 60 active serial killers in America at
Wouldn't
any one
surprise
time.
me at all.
You know, Britain probably 10, 15 that are just doing it. and
cancelling
getting
my
away with
holiday.
Is that right? How many did you see in America, James?
I
60.
think it's 60, I think they said, at any one time.
Yeah, it's scary. And if I think, of around not far from where I'm based, we had Harold Shipman and all that kind of stuff. So, it's
I don't
it's
know
not
if you
the.
guys- I don't know if you guys remember from the 1960s, late 1960s in San Francisco Bay Area, the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
That
I
was-
don't remember it specifically.
Yeah,
But I've seen
I
the
was
movie.
around. I was around during that time, and yeah, that freaked everybody out, and it still hasn't been solved, and nobody found the
Yeah,
killer.
it was never was the last kind of, what do you call it? Didn't he do puzzles for them to work out?
Yeah, I used to send like puzzles or letters, I think, to the local
Yeah.
newspapers in there to find them, but they never found them. That took the city,
And that could be like red herring stuff. They might not actually be genuine clues,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie, actually, just getting back to the movies, the movie with Robert Downey Jr. is very good. It's worth it is worth watching. Okay, guys. So just moving on, we've got a little bit of Halloween trivia for you.
Uh-oh.
Love for the trivia.
Wolf and Simons, Jason.
So just a few questions, see if you can get these and see if the guys in the chat can get. First of all, what's the official name for Halloween? We'll start off nice and easy. Howie, what do you think?
All Hallows.
All Hallows Eve.
Good stuff. That's nice and piss easy.
We
Okay.
need buzzers or something. Like, we need sounds that can be our buzzers.
Yeah, make up a sound each. Make a sound each.
What's that?
Top one.
Hunk, hunk.
So what horror movie features a killer in a William Shatner mask? Again, nice and easy.
Hunk, hunk. Halloween.
Did you know that one, Efren?
No, I thought I was going to say Scream.
Brilliant.
Efren, we did 4 friggin' shows, man, about this stuff. Okay, guys. This one's tricky. I didn't know this. Where does Halloween come from?
Ireland.
Ireland?
Ireland. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Pagan thing.
Samhain.
All right.
Oh,
Um,
so, yeah.
What
Oh, there you go.
Celtic festival is Halloween
Oh,
from?
shit. Right. I know.
Well,
Samhain.
morning.
Spoiler.
Oh, hang on.
Mayday.
Hiya, Jack. Nice to see you. Hope you come to Thought Bubble. We'll catch you at Thought Bubble, hopefully.
Yes. Get yourself in that parade.
Yeah. Okay. So, what happens to Damien's first nanny in The Omen? Falls from a stairwell, hangs herself, or a dog kills her?
Hangs herself.
Yeah, she smashes out the window, isn't she? And hangs. Yeah.
I did it all for you, Damien.
Yeah, that totally freaks me out. So it's that
Yeah.
whole thing, isn't it?
That
where they
is-
keep
that
killing
imagery is-
themselves for it.
So well done. Yeah. Whatever way they use the puppet or for it. Like,
Did anyone
Don't-
see the?
Don't all kids make you feel like doing that, though? Like,
Kids in general. Yeah.
Did anybody see the TV series a year or two back about Damien?
No, I heard it was very good though.
It got cancelled, unfortunately, after the first season, but it was very good. And it was a
Oh,
direct follow-on from the original Damien movies.
Speaking of horror shows, just a little news. They're doing a Friday the 13th prequel series
yes, Pamela is back.
with Pamela. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think it's called Crystal Lake, and it's going to be a Pamela prequel. It's A24 is producing it.
Excellent, interesting stuff. So, what classic horror movie was originally titled The Babysitter Murders?
Halloween.
Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah,
Efren, are you getting all of these?
Yeah, I'm getting them.
we should let Efren answer. Let Efren answer first.
Efren, the next question is yours. All right.
All yours, different. Now's your time to
So
shine.
all yours, Efren. How much screen time does Freddy get in the first Nightmare on Elm Street?
First Nightmare on Elm Street. I'd say 7 minutes.
Efren. Congratulations.
Spot on,
Efren.
mate.
Danny
Well
gone and
done.
done it.
Well done. Simon, next one's yours. In Scream, what's the rule number 1 on Randy's list of rules for surviving a horror movie?
Don't go outside alone.
Is he right, James?
I think it's Don't Have Sex, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was sex.
Yeah.
Don't have sex. Don't have sex. Ben, nice easy one. How many people does Jason kill in the first Friday the 13th film?
Shit. Well, do you count it as one, or I mean, it's either 0 or 1. But I always. Or does she survive? No, I always count it. Does she die?
Read the question.
0. 0 is the answer.
Yes, it's his answer one.
Fuck's sake.
No,
Zero.
but you know, in the
Yeah.
post-credit scene where he leaps out of the water, does that count as
Just
one?
goes for a swim with him.
Nah.
You don't see her die.
No, she's alive in the second one.
Jason,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
a question ideally suited to you. What horror film was the first movie to show a woman in just a bra and slip?
Psycho is quite late, isn't it? That's what first came to my mind. I'm going to say Psycho.
Psycho.
What
Correct.
did you Google for that
What?
question? Dirty.
I didn't. These were all on a pre-made quiz thing on Friv or something. I don't know. Okay, that was the end of the quiz, guys. So,
was
belly
very
button.
Efron wins.
You son of a bitch, Peter.
What? What's the matter with
You
you?
know what you did here.
I want to know what freaks you out. What scares you or just makes you feel genuinely uncomfortable. And James, will start with you.
So I have what Peter apparently thinks is hilarious, but it's actually a condition called omphalophobia. So I have a not a fear, but like I have an issue with belly buttons. They like horrify me. They just disgust me. Like I just don't like it. I don't like that I have one. I just get creeped out. I have literally been like,
Peter,
didn't get me, Peter. I was
pissing
too
me
into
off.
it. I have been up all night, like in fetal position, thinking about belly buttons. Like it's just, I don't know what it is.
Do you know what the
It's
funny thing
gross.
is, James?
What?
I didn't even put that on for you. I completely forgot you'd said that to us because I put that on for myself because I've got a bit of a thing about belly buttons as well.
Well, there you go. Omphalophobia. Peter.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Have you got a thing of your own belly button as well, or just others?
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had,
yeah.
when I was younger, I had an umbilical hernia. And since then, I've had a bit of a thing about belly buttons. And I remember when I first did my nurse training, a little old lady coming in and I having a growth on her belly button that I had to try and help. And it turns out it wasn't a growth, it was a massive plug of dirt and filth that came out like a cork. and since then, when I took a sock off, one of her toes came off as well, so that was nice. But
Oh,
since then, I've had a thing about belly buttons.
yeah, it's weird because I don't think I had it. I don't remember having it my entire life. I think it's only in the last like 5 years or so that it's developed.
I just don't like outies. Like outies.
How people are worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Oh,
want
God.
that bump in my road.
Yeah, thanks. That's okay. Full inbox. Other than belly buttons, though, I have a crippling fear of jellyfish.
Oh yeah, I don't like jellyfish
I
either.
don't go in the sea because of them.
Have you ever like been engaging in foreplay in the dark, and you know you're kissing around the body, think it's a nipple, have a little on an it's not a nipple, it's an outie.
What I do now, Ben, is none of your concern. Okay? Pervert.
Oh, Ben. Okay. Dr. Von Hoot, owls. Ian, spiders. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of spiders.
Dr. Von Hoot
Most
is
common.
like Batman, like Bruce Wayne being afraid of like bats,
Yeah.
so he like becomes the bat or whatever.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so Efren, anything that scares you in particular?
I used to have this animal as a pet. So as a pet, I really like them. But when I see them on the floor somewhere, I get scared. It's rats or mice,
Oh yeah, no.
you know. But like I used to have some as a pet, and they were so, humans, with all their filth, that's what makes them dirty and grimy. With all our waste, that's what they go for, basically. But if you have one as a pet, like in a cage, it was so docile and just wanted
And
to.
they're cute.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're
but-
cute. It's just a wild one.
Yep.
Bite you and you get diseases.
Yeah. So when I see them in the wild, it just bothers me.
My daughter's got 2 rats. Not fun. But I remember going to Edinburgh and we went to the dungeons. and they showed you the cages that they used to put people in, where they would starve the rats and then chain them to the bellies, and the rats would basically
And
eat
they'd-
the way through the
they'd heat the bucket,
yeah.
put
Yeah.
them in the bucket, and heat the end of the bucket, and they dig through your medieval times, huh?
It's
Good
the
times.
idea of like this small hole puncher. It's like they're like little alive hole puncher, like staple. They're horrible. So I'm with you with that, Efren.
Show us
If
the
you guys,
show us the hole puncher hand again.
that's the teeth, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't trust anything that has teeth like that.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen it or not yet, I'm not sure, but Cabinet of Curiosities has
I've not
one
seen it, but I want to.
particular rat-themed episode, and it's
Oh, that's good, that
horrendous.
I'm enjoying that.
Is it
Yeah.
good? Is it? Because I'm
Yeah.
keen to watch it.
It's very anthology. Like some are like really, like, oh, that's an hour of my life I'll never get
Yeah.
back. But some of the other ones, some of them, there's something for everyone, I think.
Now,
I've heard he does the kind of Jonathan Frakes Beyond Belief like intros to the episodes, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Very much,
Yeah.
very much like Hitchcock,
It's
wasn't it?
pale.
What is fear?
Phil's just saying there, biggest fear is needing a poo and there's no bowl in sight. Now, I don't think you're alone on that one, Phil. I have fear of missing toilets and not being able to get them on time. Arista Jack, wasps. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
wasps. Not a fan of
Nasty,
wasps.
nasty buggers.
Evening Comic Journey. Dr. Von Hoot's going to watch Curiosity. Yeah, it's meant to be really good. Okay, Simon, what are you afraid of?
I would say snakes. Don't like snakes.
Trouser snakes.
I just don't trust them. Like, I always think they're gonna bite you.
Mm.
Are you talking about like in the wild, or like if you were at a because I've seen
Hey,
at Comic
I
Con
just don't like
snake,
snakes.
snake handlers, you wouldn't hold one.
Yeah, I
there?
wouldn't go near them. So,
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
We'll remember that for Liverpool then.
Ian Carter, fear of farting and following through. Yeah. Fair
That's
enough, Ian. Connie, elevators and moths. I have a bit of a thing about elevators because when I was younger, much younger, I went to Spain and I made friends, as you do back then when you made friends easier, with a young lad who only had one arm. I don't know why I did that. That was me demonstrating the one arm. And it turns out that he'd had it caught in the elevator doors and sliced off at some point. Not on that holiday, obviously. But yeah, that freaked me out big style.
Fucking hell. What about an elevator full of moths, Connie? Oh.
Comic Journey, I'm afraid of ignorance. Quite right.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Ben, what's your fear? This hair is getting right on my bloody nerves. Ben, what's your fear?
I don't like the plastic that they use on like picnic plates and cups and stuff. You know that
That noise
like
of it
when you scratch it.
really
I have
shiny.
that too.
Like,
I have that too.
I have to fucking leave the room if someone has that shit. Like, yeah. So that's
Like
my.
Tupperware stuff, or
No, it's like
Yeah,
a
like-
whatever cover for the paper plates.
No,
isn't
because
it?
Tupperware is like a smooth plastic, right?
Yeah.
It's that like rough, coarse plastic that like if you scratch it, like. Ugh.
yeah.
I mean, I thought we were going weird with James and his belly buttons, but now we're talking about cutters.
So you knew,
have
you
a
remember
fear
the
of-
belly buttons, Peter.
You're worried. of
Liar.
plastic.
Yeah, it's real.
I mean-
Don't judge. What's real.
I'm looking forward to when we stay at Liverpool because I'm bringing all of this shit with us.
It's the bag full.
Jason, please try and get through this little section without saying wank.
I can't.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Move on. No. Cotton wool.
Oh,
I don't
Okay.
like cotton wool. It squeaks. If you put cotton wool in your mouth, right, when you're a dentist or whatever, and it's got that horrible texture and it squeaks and it's horrible. Don't like that. Don't like spiders. Don't like clowns. And I certainly don't like clowns with spiders' faces and spiders with clowns' faces.
Clowns
Uh,
is an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh, clowns.
So Pennywise as the big spider creature thing.
Yeah. I still haven't seen any of the Terrifier movies. Are they good?
Oh,
Ben's
Jason.
a big fan, aren't you, Ben? Yeah.
They are
I'm not
sick,
watching.
disturbed, depraved.
I've heard
And it's
it's they are pretty gory, aren't they?
horrific.
Yeah.
Terrifier 2 apparently was making people kind of vomit in cinemas and things, wasn't
So
it?
Terrifier 2, bearing in mind, self-proclaimed horror connoisseur, you think you've seen it all. There were moments of Terrifier 2 that I actually say this is the Scream. I was having to kind of just take a moment because it was that full on and intense, and and I think it's the velocity of there's one particular scene. I think it's the velocity of the violence. You're so used to it, build up, one bit of violence, climax done. It was like fucking climax for like 2 minutes flat, and I was just like, wow, I need to take a moment. This is I'll wait till you all. I'd love to have a discussion about it when we've all seen it, because it's a riot.
I tell you what I don't like, it does kind of freak me out, is when you see some of these home invasion movies. And I don't know if you've ever seen a film called You're Next.
Yes,
which is a great film by Adam Wingard, I think, directed it.
I think so.
And basically, it's just a load of people getting in a house together. It's like a family, and the house gets invaded by people in masks, sheet masks, and stuff like that, and get killed off. But there's a few twists in it, which is really, really good. Ty West is in it. Barbara Crampton, I think, is in it. Some really sort of iconic horror people. But I love those sort of movies. The Strangers as well was it?
I love The Strangers. That's like one of my favorites.
I enjoyed Prey at Night as well. The second one that was quite good as well. But, was that in the Caravan Park or somewhere? It seems to ring a bell.
M. Night Shyamalan's got a new one coming that's like a home invader.
Cabin Woods or something. Knock on the door.
Knock at the door.
They used to look so intense in it.
Yeah, that looks really
well.
good.
Speaking of movies, guys.
Yeah,
I know we've touched on this on some of the shows we've done previous, but what do you think is the best scary movie? So it hasn't got to be the scariest movie, just what you particularly really enjoy. What your favorite movie is. We'll start with you, Jason. Rules of the game, guys. You can't say something somebody else has said, so you're gonna have to keep thinking as you go.
I don't think anyone's going to mention this one. It's a massive favorite of mine. It's called The Orphanage. It is a Spanish movie by Juan Antonio Bayona, is it? He did some of the Lost World, the Jurassic. He did one of the Jurassic Park movies, I think.
The second last.
Bayona
or something.
Bayona, and he also did,
Bayona,
I think he did The Impossible as well, is it?
All right,
with the tidal wave,
it's a really good film.
Really creepy, really atmospheric, very sad. Always makes me cry.
What's it about, Jason? What's it?
So I don't want to say too much without spoiling. Okay, so a boy, this woman takes over an orphanage full of disadvantaged children and disabled children, and she has a son there growing up with them. And when she was younger, she stayed at the orphanage herself, so she sort of wants to pay it forward and wants to look after the children. Her son disappears, goes missing, and this kid starts turning up and he's got like a Hessian thing over his head, like a mask thing over his head. He's breathing heavily, and it's really creepy, really atmospheric. Please go and watch it. If you haven't seen it, it's an amazing film. Beautifully shot, very creepy, very atmospheric. Lots of twists and turns. Fantastic.
Sounds good. I like the sound of that one, Jason. You mentioned the Hessian bag then. It's taken us right back to a film I watched years and years ago. But
say it. I know what you're going to say.
I can't remember what it's called. It's got the guy he was in Darkman and then L.A. Law, I think.
Yeah. Right. Didn't they do like a remake of it or a meta?
No, he's a scarecrow. And he gets hunted down and murdered, and he's got a Hessian bag over his head. And then he comes.
Is it Night of the Scarecrow?
Night of the Scarecrow, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good films. I'll look out for that. The orphanage sounds really interesting.
Honestly, it's brilliant.
Ben, coming to you next.
Oh, I'm gonna not
Oh,
pick.
Dr.
what
Von Hoot
James-
approves, by the way. Sorry, of
Sorry?
the orphanage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. I'm not going to do what James is going to do. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to give it to James, but it's the same. I am going to go for The Shining.
Ooh,
Brilliant film.
Yeah, just an amazing sort of study of the human psyche and its kind of decline, and just an incredible kind of exploration of claustrophobia and sort of paranoia and repetition, and stuff doesn't make sense in it, but that's fine. And the moment you kind of revel in that, and some of the most kind of iconic imagery to come out in cinema, I think. So yeah, and just obviously outstanding performances as well
That's the one.
from the two leads. So yeah, The Shining.
very good. Have you
Great.
seen Doctor Sleep? I'm not seeing
Yeah,
that
you
one
did the
yet.
second one.
It's good.
Is it
It's
good?
I
not
thought
like-
amazing. Really good.
It's a sequel, and it
Yeah.
like I do think that Shining's one of those masterpieces that can stand on its own. So Doctor Sleep, it's a sequel. It's kind of it's one of those things where, like, when you do something so iconic, any kind of sequel, prequel just feels like fan fiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
However good it is, it'll always just feel like fan fiction because nothing will stand.
I might have to watch it. It's on Sky at the moment.
Yeah, do it.
Big
It's good.
stack.
It kind of becomes a completely different thing as well, which is fun. So yeah.
Big Stacks mentioning Event Horizon there. That film really freaked me out. I remember going to see that thinking it was a
That's the one in
Hellraiser in space, isn't it?
yeah. It's a weird film, but very good.
Great.
Simon, you're next.
Oh, I'm next. I would going to go with Midsummer. Have you
Oh,
seen that?
great
That
choice.
freaked me
Yeah,
out.
I
That
love that
was
film.
really pagan sort of weird crap and shit. Yeah, it was weird.
I
Like,
don't think I've seen that one. My daughter watched that one, said it was brilliant.
Oh,
Told us
you
to
need
watch
to
it.
watch it. Yeah, it's got Florence Burns in it, and there's a scene where they're basically going like on a trip, like a away trip, and they think that a friend invites them and says, "Oh, come along. It's just we have this summer festival every time." So it feels real. That's the thing. Like something like this could happen, probably did happen back then.
Yeah.
Where it's all pagan, and it just goes south with them, and they start killing all the kids, and she's like, becomes this like wins the parade or whatnot, and they're like, there's one scene in it where they all gather around and they're watching this old woman on the cliff. She just falls and splats. Yeah, and it was like, whoa, like it's very disturbing, very.
Sounds interesting. Ephraim, what about yourself?
My types of the most scary movies are ones that you don't really see the creatures. Always like darkness is involved. We talked about this in our videos, but it was The Descent from 2005.
Yeah.
The British
Great.
horror films. The film follows 6 women who enter a cave system. I think it was the Appalachian Mountains, and struggle to survive against the humanoid creatures inside. It's just the darkness where they're using their flashlights, and then they flash it real quick, and you see like this face. And then you see them, just little bits and pieces of them. Those types of movies are always, scariest to me, like when there's darkness involved and something pops out.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
good.
The opening scene of that film is horrific as well, isn't it?
Is that the one in the car? Where
Yeah.
it's awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Good
Heartbreaking.
film. Good film. I mean, speaking of jump scares, I'm not going to spoil it because it's a new film out, but I know James has seen it. But we've both seen a film called Barbarian, which was
I want to see it.
it's
I was
tremendous.
going to see it tonight, but
I'm
this
not going to
show's
spoil it, but
so
there are some
good.
good jump scares in that.
Yeah.
Very
Good.
good. I enjoyed it.
What's that on?
It's out at the cinema at the moment. It's called Barbarian.
Oh, right, it's new. It's like
Bill-
new, is it?
Bill
Right,
Skarsgård and
There's
Justin Bieber.
Barbarians on Netflix, like.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well worth going to see, Jason. Let us know what you think of it.
Bye, mate.
James T.
So I think Ben is assuming, and correctly, that I was going to say Halloween, because I think Halloween is the greatest horror film of all time and one of the most expertly crafted movies. And we've gushed about it several times on this channel. So The one I want to talk about, I fell in love with a new kind of horror movie that it's a classic that they were showing in the cinema yesterday that I'd never seen, called Trick or Treat.
It's amazing. It's brilliant.
It's going to be a yearly ritual now to watch this around
Yeah.
Halloween. It's just there's very few times I've had this much fun in a movie screening, and absolutely adored every
Is
second.
Anna Paquin in it? I think
Anna Paquin, Brian Cox is also in it.
Yeah.
Dylan Baker from the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans is in it. He's fantastic in that as well. And I think the
Great story.
The design of like
Sam,
a lot of
Oh,
unexpected.
Sam is up there with the best British
Iconic.
horror icons. Like,
Never had a cinematic release in the UK, and very difficult to get hold on DVD and Blu-ray in the UK as well. But I know that the director he did some other movies, didn't he?
Michael Doty did Krampus.
Yes, amazing
Krampus,
film.
Yeah.
I love that.
He only announced this month that he's working on a follow-up to Trick or Treat, a sequel. So I'd be excited to see that anyway.
I don't think I've seen any of them. I'm going to have to watch those ones as well. I've got
you haven't seen
all
Krampus?
of them.
You haven't seen
Krampus is so
Krampus?
good, man.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay, good picks, James. So for me, I'm going to pick two. I've spoke about them before. I do like horror, but I also like what I would class as fun horror. So my first pick would be the original Fright Night. Absolutely love that film. I think it's just great fun. And then my second one, probably pretty much for just a 20-minute end scene, is Cabin in the Woods.
Great.
Great
Love that
Oh
movie.
my God, what a great film.
I just love it. I think it's phenomenal.
I have to say,
Okay.
it's amazing choices tonight, guys. Well done, because I love all those movies. Love them.
We've had some great suggestions in the chat as well, which I've been putting up on screen as we're going through. Everybody's been really good tonight in terms of engagement, so thank you very much to everybody in the chat. Right, guys, we'll just quickly kind of round up with what we've got coming up on our channels. So I'll whiz through my stuff first, then I'll come to each of my guests. First of all, just to mention that, as I always do, a plug for all the UK live streamers. So tomorrow night, we've got This Week in Metropolis. And James, you're going to be on tomorrow night.
I am indeed. I'll be joining the boys for a nice little sit down, a couple of beers, and a little chat. So that should be good.
Superb. Can't wait for that. And I'll definitely be watching James and supporting. So you will have fun, I've no doubt, because the guys are tremendous.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, we've got the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club, and they're talking about Oblivion Song. Not a book I've read, but I know there's a TV show coming out soon about it, so that'll be worth watching. We've got Keller Comic Show on Thursday, and we've got Grey Man's show, Cover Slingers, on Saturday. Tomorrow night as well, it's not on this little chart, but tomorrow night we've got reviews with Rich, and I think they're talking about the first Alien movie, so well worth watching that. On my channel, next week we've got Let's Talk Toys, so we'll be talking 1/6 scale action figures, smaller scale figures, computer games, all that kind of stuff. Week after that, live unboxing plus Thought Bubble special. So we'll be talking about the stuff we've picked up at Thought Bubble. After that, what you're watching, talking about Dharma, Game of Thrones, a little bit on Doctor Who, and mainly about Wakanda Forever. So please try and, if you want to take part in that show, please try and have seen Wakanda Forever by then. And then I'm looking forward to the next What If, which is Godzilla. So that should be good fun. New show coming up. Probably in December with myself, Jason, Ben, and James, where we're going to be doing some comic book news talk, but also doing a hot sauce challenge. So that should be entertaining. Right, guys. So I know Ben's got to shoot off. So Ben, we'll start with you. What have you got coming up?
Yeah, sorry to be that bitch. I've been doing my first reels, so that's very exciting. So I've been doing a couple of kind of figure reels. What else? My Spider-Man sticker collection video is up now. If you're interested to see the Panini Spider-Man sticker collection, and of course the in theme for this month for Love of Horror, just some coverage of the event, and James and Peter obviously make some nice cameos in there as well. So yeah, that's my channel.
And where are you going now, Ben?
I am off to One Sit Figure Focus to have a chat about Halloween, I guess.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you coming
No
on tonight.
worries.
James T, what you got going on?
Yeah, so like I said, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. I'll be on This Week in Metropolis, joining the lads for a nice chat. And then I started a TikTok lately. So I'm up there now. and I've been doing
I've
YouTube
seen you on your
What are you,
TikTok.
12?
So yeah, just been kind of going through some old videos and cutting out kind of interesting segments and posting them as solo videos. I've been doing that, and I'll have a normal video up at some point in the future.
Brilliant. Good stuff. And you're doing some shorts as well on YouTube, aren't you?
But yes, yeah, I have been. Yeah, cutting them. Yeah.
Good
Per
stuff.
your suggestion, Peter, and thank you,
Good man.
because they're doing well.
Efren, what have you got going on?
Ben and I are going to do a Star Trek retrospective, and
Tremendous. Tremendous.
No, I have. I've bought statues in the past, and I said I'm done with them. But I ordered this one like about a year ago, and it came in from Hasbro. So I'm going to put that up pretty soon. And I made a trade for a comic book too. I think I might have mentioned that. Keep on postponing that one, but I'm going to show what took part of this trade, what I gave away, and what I got. And besides that, just my usual videos. I'll be posting on Instagram. And I noticed James started following me on TikTok. So yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm late to the TikTok party.
Yeah.
And we need to sort out our top 5. We're doing X-Men, yeah?
Yeah.
5 X-Men? Okay, we'll need to book that in. Simon, anything from you yet?
Not yet. No, I've got my intro ready though, so that's a good thing. I've shown you it, haven't I?
Yeah.
Just need a channel now. Just
I
need
know,
content.
I need something to talk about. I need your help.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to that. Jason, what have you got going on?
Well, funny enough, talk about content. I haven't got any. That's a bit of a lie. I do actually have some books that's come back from CGC. I've got the Aquaman #1 that's come
right.
back. Right. I don't know if you remember. I bought it in a little comic shop. I say little. It was quite a big comic shop in Merthyr Tydfil. I bought it for £430. Did I get my money's worth? Let's find out.
Is that the first appearance of Aquaman?
No. It's Aquaman in his first solo series.
Good stuff.
Aquaman 1. Yeah. So still highly sought after.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see what grade I get with that.
Excellent. Right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Really do appreciate you jumping on. It's been fun. Just before we go.
Oh, fuck me.
Stone cold, baby.
A little bit of wee, Ben? A little bit of wee? No? Just a little bit. Good stuff. Thank you very much to my panel, and thank you very much to everybody that's joined in the chat. It's been really, really nice to have so many people commenting, so I do appreciate that. And we'll catch you next time. Get your mask on, Jason. Marvellous. And can we all do a bit of a Simon Grr? Grr. Grr.